If you're looking for a large SUV that has 7 seats but sits on the sporty side for the segment, this beautiful blue test model is a firm competitor against the Kia Sorento, Toyota Kluger and the Skoda Kodiaq. And in this video, I'm going to show you what my family of 3 have discovered this week, so stay watching. There are just 4 variants for the Allspace lineup now, and the model on test here is the flagship 162 TSI R-Line, which is priced from $60,590 before on-road costs. That's actually $300 less than last year, and it positions it as the most affordable high-spec option compared to its rivals, while still benefiting from the third row of seating. Our test model has some optioned extras, like a panoramic sunroof, which tacks on $2,100, and a sound and vision package, which adds wireless connectivity, gesture control, sat-nav, as well as a premium 10-speaker Harman and Kardon sound system, all for $1,950. But even with those extras, the price point of this still sits below its rivals. Some of the standard features for the top model include powered front seats with heat and cooling function, heated rear outboard seats, a heated steering wheel, as well as a power tailgate. But the full specs are in my detailed written review at carsguide.com.au if you need more info. The Allspace is a 7-seater, but it's a relatively compact and city-friendly one, so don't expect the space of a Toyota Kluger. That being said, it makes the shape look sporty rather than lumbering, and it features the classic VW pleating across the paneling, which also makes it look very sharp. The R-Line has IQ Light Matrix LEDs, 20-inch alloys, and R-Line specific front and rear bumpers. The faux quad exhausts add to the sportiness, and I'm really digging all the shiny chrome accents against this blue paintwork. It's a very handsome car. Nothing's really changed in the cabin for this model year. I like that it still looks sharp, it still looks high-end with all the mix of the materials that it's been used, like the leather seating and upholstery and soft touch points throughout. Even the harder plastic feels nice underneath the hand. The dashboard is headlined by a 9.2-inch touchscreen multimedia system and a 10.25-inch digital instrument cluster, both of which look really high-end with their graphics. I like too that inside you get a traditional gear shifter, and it's a nice mix between the touchpad and dial controls. Up front, I have plenty of head and legroom, but I still feel tucked in like I'm in a cockpit, which is really nice. The powered seats are very comfortable, a little bit on the firm side rather than plush, but great on a long journey. Individual storage is good for the class with 2 retractable cup holders, really large storage bins in each door, as well as a handy little cubby next to the driver's knee. The middle console is average in size, but you can adjust the lid, which makes it more comfortable. And there's a dedicated phone storage, which has the wireless phone charger, 2 USB-C ports, as well as a 12-volt socket. The multimedia system is pretty easy to use once you spend some time with it. The gesture control on it, my 7-year-old loved, but I thought was a bit gimmicky. I like that you have wireless and wired Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, but to get the wireless function going, you do have to connect it to a cable first. It has built-in sat-nav, and I really like that the directions are pulled on the digital instrument cluster. This middle row is easy to get in and out of because of the wide doors and the 186mm ground clearance. This seat though is far narrower than it needs to be. You miss out on a lot of space on the sides, and it's quite firm, so I feel like you'd get a little bit of fatigue in this row as an adult. Despite the sunroof, I have plenty of headroom and a good amount of legroom behind my driving position, but I'm only 168 centimeters tall. If you have taller occupants, it can feel a little bit squishy in this cabin. This row also gets really good amenities. You have climate control, directional air vents, a single USB-C port and a 12-volt socket, as well as those heat functions on the outboard seats. Storage is also good, 4 device pockets, 2 mat pockets, storage bins in the door, and the 2 cup holders in this fold down armrest. But I do feel like the cup holders are a bit annoyingly positioned because they're right in the middle, which is exactly where your elbow would go. This row has ISOFIX child seat mounts on the outboard seats plus 3 top tethers. Because the seat's quite narrow, I think 2 seats are definitely going to fit best. The third row is really small. Even my 7-year-old said that he didn't really have enough room for his legs. There's also only 1 cup holder back there in terms of amenities, so adults aren't going to be happy on a long trip. With all 3 rows in use, you get a decent 230 litres of capacity available, but that jumps up to 700 litres when you fold that 3rd row. I like that you've got a space saver spare tyre and a dedicated space for your cargo cover underneath the floor, but you do have to remove the 3rd row to access that tyre. And I always like having a power tailgate, which this model has. Fans may be disappointed because with the new lineup, the diesel engine has been completely axed. The 162 TSI R-Line has a 2-litre 4-cylinder turbo-petrol engine, which produces 162 kilowatts of power and 350 newton meters of torque. That's a pretty punchy combo, and it can do a 0 to 100 kilometer sprint in just 6.8 seconds. This particular model is an all-wheel drive and has a 7-speed automatic transmission, which is smooth once you get up to speed. The R-Line has a good well of power to dip into, but there can be a lag when you accelerate from a full stop. So just take a few extra seconds whenever you're crossing traffic. But once you're up to speed, it's got fantastic pickup and you can easily keep your speed consistent when you're going on hills. The suspension is firm and you do get quite a bit of road feedback in this. I found that kind of translated to a consistent vibration through the seats and floor. I got used to it, but my husband didn't think it was quite refined when we did longer journeys in this. You get some road noise in this, but otherwise it's pretty quiet in the cabin. So longer journeys I found were nice on the ears. The steering in this is quite responsive when you're at higher speeds, and just the handling in general feels quite dynamic, but sure of itself. So tackling winding roads or corners is pretty fun because the car just feels quite glued to the road. And there's not a lot of roll at all for the driver. A little bit for the passengers though. I did notice that my co-pilot this week shifted around, but that was mostly when I was going over bumps at lower speeds. However, the steering can feel quite heavy when you're reversing. It's only when you reverse, so I don't know if it's just because I'm going too slow, but I didn't love that aspect. And the fact too, the 360-degree view camera takes a beat to turn on and isn't as clear as what I was hoping for this grade level. The official combined fuel cycle figure is 8.6 litres per 100 kilometres. My real world usage came out at 9.3 litres. I have done quite a bit of open road driving this week with just a little bit of urban mixed in and haven't held back with the power, so I think that's pretty good result overall, but I would expect that figure to be higher in a strictly urban setting. Based on the official combined fuel cycle and the 60-litre fuel tank, you should be able to get a decent theoretical driving range of up to 697 kilometres. The Tiguan Allspace comes with a 5-year unlimited kilometre warranty, which is the usual term for the class. You can pre-purchase either a 3 or 5-year servicing plan, and on the 5-year plan, services average $730, which is cheaper than the pay-as-you-go option, but pretty expensive for the class, especially when you consider the Kluger averages just $265. Servicing intervals are reasonable though, at every 12 months or 15,000 kilometres, whichever occurs first. At the time of this video, the Tiguan Allspace hasn't been tested with ANCAP yet, so is unrated, but all pre-2023 models achieved a 5-star ANCAP safety rating underneath the 2016 protocol. This has a healthy safety features list, including 7 airbags, and the curtain airbags cover all 3 rows. It also has all of the biggies you'd expect, like rear cross traffic alert, but does miss out on traffic sign recognition. The full safety specs are in my detailed written review at carsguide.com.au if you need more info. The Volkswagen Tiguan Allspace 162 TSI R-Line has a lot to offer. Smart styling, lots of features, and a reasonable price tag compared to its rivals. The ongoing costs are a little bit high, but it's a comfortable daily driver with a couple of quirks, and the extra 3rd row will appeal to families, so it gets an 8 out of 10 from me. My son really enjoyed all the features in the middle row and he was pretty comfortable this week, so he also gives it an 8 out of 10. The full review is at carsguide.com.au if you need more info, and I'll see you next week.